Welcome to another Godzilla review. I'm not entirely sure what exactly I'm looking at here. All I can tell is it's a set of figures. This is a hypermodeling set of figures from Art Spirits. Now, I'm not familiar with this company. This is literally the first time I have one of their products here. This is obviously from King of Monsters. You got 2 Godzillas, 2 Mothras, a Rodan, and a King Ghidorah. The total cost of this was a bit pricey. I will say it was around 150 Canadian dollars. So my question is that money worth it? Because obviously, I feel like I picked up what seems to be a box for blind bags. This feels like a wholesale box. To be frankly honest, I really don't know what I'm going to expect out of this box. So without further ado, let's take a look. So first and foremost, this is the 2019 King of Monsters set here, for the art series of hypermodeling figures. So this is what it looks like in the front, and you'll notice for the logo, instead of saying King of the Monsters, it's just Godzilla 2. Interesting. I assume this comes straight from Japan. This package is screaming Japanese production. It's quite obvious when you look at the back here. You can pause the video to take a look at all the text if you want to. There's a glam of Ghidorah there, and on this side a glam of Godzilla there. Nothing at the bottom here, as you can see. And then at the top, well, you technically saw the top. This is the front. There you go. Nothing too special, but you can see there's like a cutout here. There's like a dotted line here. So genuinely speaking, this looks like a wholesale box of blind boxes or something like that. So I really don't know what I'm expecting out of this set. So there's the box. Let me know what you think, because now let's get this box open and see what it looks like inside. Looks like everything inside is individually packaged. Interesting. So we got package number 1 here, package number 2, I mean they're letters, so A, B, box C, D, and E, F. Okay, it is blind boxes. You don't know what, I mean, you know what you're gonna get, but you don't know what is in what box. So this is basically a blind box opening for me. Obviously it makes sense if we take a look at box A first. It's just a pure white box, as you can see. Nothing out of the ordinary. Interesting concept. I must say, this is a very interesting concept. Nothing too much happened here, so let's punch this and get this open. All right, box A is open, and it is Godzilla. Regular, default looking Godzilla. Interesting. It's much smaller than I thought, but with the size of the box, that's to be expected. Beautifully wrapped. The packaging is very nice, I will say. So let's take this out of the Z-Box. And then all you gotta do is put the tail together like this. And here's our first figure. Default Godzilla here. Look at that. I mean, the coloring is pretty nice right off the get-go. When you put art series in the title of a set, I am going to be looking at the details. All the more reason to look at the details, because I expected them to be nice, and they are. You know, this Godzilla looks pretty nice, even though it's really small. I've noticed this with the smaller figures Playmates has put out, is that the smaller they are, the less detailed they get. And that's mainly due to pricing. I mean, granted, this whole set is $150, which is very pricey. And dividing that by 6, there's 6 figures in this set. You divide that by 6, you're looking around $25 per figure. Yikes. Not even a full 6-inch Playmates figure costs that much. But then again, you gotta remember, these aren't toys. These really are collectibles. Meaning there's absolutely zero posability on this figure. This is the pose you're gonna get. This is the pose you're gonna stick with. There's no articulation whatsoever. But I think that's okay, because we're really looking at the details on this. The colors are very nice. I mean, the dorsal plates light up really nicely with the blue, contrasting his main color scheme, which is like gunmetal gray pretty much. Also, I do very much appreciate the eyes. They actually somewhat look realistic. Granted, even though they're small, you know, like he actually looks like he's charging up. The only critique I would give this is that the tail was quite difficult to put in. You're probably gonna need a hair dryer to warm any points of connection a bit before actually doing the said connection. But other than that, this, I guess, standard Godzilla, heat ray Godzilla, it looks really good. So out of 10, I'm gonna give this one a solid, I'm gonna give it a solid 7. It's not too bad. All right, box letter B. Let's see what this one is. My guess this is probably Burning Godzilla. I don't know how they're gonna order it, but let's crack this open and then we shall find out together. 3, 2, 1, it is Ghidorah. There we are. Get that one out. Open this one. I mean, without the wings, Ghidorah has a very slim body build. Ghidorah here actually requires a bit of assembly, which makes sense with how he's built. Interesting way of packing this. So his tail is in this mini plastic bag. So to assemble this, first you gotta put the tail in. Now with the tail assembled, let's put on his massive wings here. Gotta find the perfect attachment point. Well, that took significantly longer than usual to pull off and assemble, but it's done. It's finally done. The biggest of the bunch here, of course, Ghidorah, is a very big titan, a 3-headed golden dragon. Obviously, a lot is gonna come with scaling. To give you a sense of the scale, I would say is not super accurate, because look at Godzilla here. He's basically eye to eye with Ghidorah here, which is not that accurate, because obviously Ghidorah is a lot bigger than Godzilla. This Ghidorah is just screaming in gold. The big wings, the 3 heads, everything about this Ghidorah is screaming giant gold colors. Dark gold, might I add. They're not making it super bright gold like the Toho Ghidorah would be. So, long story short, this gives a very scary vibe to it. It feels like a Game of Thrones dragon. It looks terrifying. Much rather than, you know, the big chubby-ish style you get from the Toho Ghidorah. So that is why I've always praised the Monsterverse Ghidorah's design. Granted, there's no articulation, and this is the only pose I can get him in. It looks great. The paint is great with the dark gold, but also looking at the 3 heads, you can see each head really shows their own personalities, and they do have their own personalities. And in this one tiny model, they're able to capture that very well. So I think the paint job on the faces look really good. And I will give this Ghidorah, I'm gonna say a solid 8 out of 10. Just for those really picky people out there, yes, this is not lore accurate. Godzilla is not supposed to be eye to eye with Ghidorah here. So there's that. And that is my take on the Ghidorah in this set. Needless to say, this is the biggest behemoth here. So now everything else, we got Burning Godzilla, and we got the Mothras, and we got Rodan. So let's see which one we'll get next in box C. Here is box C. Let's see what we get in this one. If we're continuing the theme of new figures, we're not gonna get the repeats yet. I'm gonna say this one is Rodan. Let's go with that. So let's do Rodan. 3, 2, 1. Ah! I was right for once. Ooh, he comes with a little volcano stand. Okay. Which is right here. And then the Rodan himself is within this package. Let's take it out. Those are his wings. Again, like Ghidorah, the wings is really what makes him Rodan. But I'm hoping this one will be a little bit easier than Ghidorah's because he doesn't have a massive tail to put at the end as well. Let's see. So all you gotta do is put the wings like this. There we go. That wasn't so hard. And then now to stand him up, there's our Rodan. All assembled. Not too shabby. I like this. I like the inclusion of the volcano, not only to act as a prop to stand him up, but also it fits. You know, Rodan did erupt out of a volcano. So they've done this one pretty well. You know, there's details, there's accessories to go with this one. Very nice. In terms of Rodan himself, you got some really sick colors. I really like the outline of the lava. Also, he has an ability where his wings can create a giant windstorm. And you can see this flapping motion he's doing here is kind of intimidating that. And the volcano itself, you know, there are some details on it too, as you can see. You can see the orange paint inside, and you don't really notice the invisible rod that much. So I think out of 10, I'm going to give this one a solid 9. They've really cooked with Rodan here. I'm very happy with what I got. And just to give you a sense of scale, if we're talking about accuracy, once again, not too accurate. Ghidorah is supposed to be a lot bigger than Rodan, but that is the comparison. I mean, like, Ghidorah has to be shrunk for the sake of the set, so I guess everyone else made sense. I mean, if you put Godzilla next to Rodan here, yeah, I think this is about right. I mean, I think Rodan is actually a lot bigger. I think I'm just underestimating how big he truly is. So a solid 9 out of 10 here for me for Rodan here. I'm very impressed with what I got, and so far, he's been my favorite. Let's move on with box D, which I assume is going to be one of our Mothras. We have not got a Mothra yet, so probably going to be in there. And here is box D. Is it going to be Burning Godzilla, or is it going to be our first Mothra? Let's open the box and find out together. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, nailed it, which is a lot bigger than I thought too. So yeah, scaling is definitely wrong here. What is this? Oh, she comes with instructions. All right. So what does this instruction sheet tell you? So these are her caterpillar legs. Got it. That's what it is. All in Japanese. So once again, if you want to take a pause and read this, you may pause the video right now to go through it if you understand Japanese. I do not. So anyone who knows Japanese, please translate it for me. And this is the main larva. What is this? Is this the base plate? It's a rock, but it's supposed to act as a base plate to stand said figure up. So how about we put the legs on first and then stand her up? So speedrun time. And here is Mothra. A interesting concept. The quality feels different from the rest of the figures that we've gotten so far in this very set. Is it a bad thing? Absolutely not. Also love this rock here. It acts just like as the volcano for Rodan. This rock is to prop the Mothra figure up. The only frustrating part I would say is, of course, assembling the legs together. They're not the most steadiest. You really gotta put some strength and make sure they stay secured in. We don't have a lot of Mothras in her larva form as a physical collectible or toy. So this is pretty neat, might I say. This is a good addition. There were quite a bit of Titans in King of Monsters, but I think they were smart to go with a Larva Mothra. This, I would argue, is the one thing that makes this set special and may entice someone to buy it. I would say the detailing is great. The colors are fantastic on it. Even though it's just a larva, you're not supposed to have those beautiful colors yet that Mothra embarks on. So this is her baby form. This makes sense in a way. So I like the glossiness is very obvious, unfortunately. I just wish the glossiness wasn't that obvious. I wouldn't say this is my favorite one of the whole set, at least so far, but it's not terrible. I'm gonna give Larva Mothra here a 7 out of 10 as well. It's not terrible. Okay, second last box here. Box E. Let's see which one we'll get out of this one. I'm gonna say this one could potentially be Burning Godzilla, and then the last one is Mothra. 3, 2, 1. Ah, this is Mothra. Fully matured Mothra. And looks like, once again, bodies here. Wings are taped very tightly down here. And then also comes with another rock. So I guess the first thing we'll unbox. Ow. Ow, these things are sharp. And then this one is the rock. Ow, that is also pokey. Ow, why is everything so sharp? Okay, first you gotta put her on the rock so she has some attachment points that will put her onto the rock itself. So she does not come with a stand because she's just crawling on the rock like this. And that's one way to protect yourself from the super sharp pointy claws. You know, they should really have an instruction manual here, but okay, yep, there you go, there you go. And then this one goes on. Ow! Ow!
2,000 years later.
Well, I've tried again and again and again, and I kid you not, it's been 45 minutes. For the sake of my own life, I could not attach the wings together on this Mothra. It just wouldn't align with the hole inside and stick together. So if you see a piece of tape on the figure, that's the only way I can do to hold the two wings together, because my god, this is actually infuriating that I can't put the wings on. Is it something I'm doing wrong? I legit can't tell. But I guess I'm just gonna have to roll with it for the time being. And so let's just review this. Just pretend the wings are successfully in. But the wings are pretty nice. I mean, the coloring is quite solid for what you get, and I think this is a pretty colorful Mothra because, well, Mothra can come in many different colors. This is like the most colorful version she can be. Also, her claws are really sharp. I kid you not, they are sharp. They are definitely pointy, and she stands on this rock, which is a good addition. Is it a rock or is it a Godzilla scale? I actually can't really tell. But unfortunately, the wings, you know, even though there's no articulation, I still couldn't put the wings on. I just don't know why. It just wouldn't let me. I would say the Larva Mothra did it better. So I'm gonna have to give this one a 6 out of 10. Like, it looks great, but the wings just really piss me off. That means we have one more box to take a look at. And of course, in that final box contains Burning Godzilla. All right, final box here. This is, of course, Burning Godzilla. We know that already. So let's get this one open. Burning Godzilla. Give me him. There he is. So let's see. Wow, look at that. Now we just gotta put the tail in. So we start off with Godzilla, and now we're ending with Godzilla. And here it is, our final figure of the set here. It is, of course, Burning Godzilla. And my goodness, do they really capture that? I was only expecting an orange and red thermal color scheme, but I did not expect the black to contrast it so intensely. It really looks like he's charcoaling. It's night and day in terms of the colors. Granted, it's the exact same mold, but my goodness gracious, they went all in with the coloring on Burning Goji here, and I am super impressed. The dorsal fins really stand out to me, and you can see it continues on the dorsal plates all the way to the tail, and that's, you know, it's consistent. That's something I have critiqued Playmates Godzilla on quite a bit, and it's not the case here for the art series Gojis here. 9 out of 10 for me. The only thing I would say maybe improve on is maybe tone down the black a bit. It's a bit too much. It's too obvious. You need more of the orange to stand out to really show the burning. This looks burnt, past tense. You need burning, the process of burning. This just looks like the aftermath of it. Look, we started off this set with a Godzilla, and now we've ended with a Godzilla. That is, you know, a full circle. So now, let's end it off with the final verdict, with, of course, all of the figures out, and taking a look at this final set as a whole set. Let's take a look. Overall, this is a interesting set, to say the least. This costed 150 Canadian. As you can see, all 6 of these, $25 each. I think it would have been nice if the price went down a little bit. 100 would have been great already. I know these are very carefully sculpted and painted figures, so I know these take a lot of effort to put together. At the same time, we have companies like SH Monster Arts. We also have Haya Toys, who are full-on interactive collectible figures. Now riddle me this, if you had a limited budget and you want to get your hands on a good Godzilla or other monster figure, and you're deciding on what is worth putting your money on, would you put your money on some figures that are only there for display, no articulation, no playability, or would you rather have a figure that you can interact with from time to time and looks much bigger and looks really good on the shelves? I think everyone has a different answer to that. This was too much money, especially with so much repercussions that came with this set. The Mothra was unsuccessful. With the wings, I couldn't put the wings on. I think it's safe to say I will not get something like this again. Yes, you get more details. They look a lot more realistic and they look more high-end. But no articulation, no playability, and even frustrating to assemble. Playmates, you just gotta rip it out of the package and then you're good to go. For the amount you pay, it's just not worth it. 150 bucks is way too much. And I've seen it go for 170 bucks. The figures aren't bad. My favorite has to be Rodan. Then it's default Godzilla, Ghidorah, Burning Godzilla, Larva Mothra, and regular Mothra. That's where I am gonna rank these figures. And I've each given them an individual score, but overall, this entire set, I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. It's just not worth it. That's my biggest gripe with it. And most importantly, if you're gonna pay that much money, I expect easy quality figures. Easy as in easy to handle and assemble. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Hiya Toys had some really tough articulation bits as well, but at least it was easy to assemble, and they were only 70 Canadian each. You gotta do better, this set ain't it. But anyone who owns this set, let me know what you think, if you agree with me or disagree. Any passionate Godzilla fan, if you really want to get everything, sure, pick the set up by all means. But if I were you, I'd save that money and get more either SH Monster Art figures or Hiya Toys figures. People already complain about SH Monster Art's ridiculous price points. People are saying it's overpriced. I can only imagine the backlash this set would have gotten back then with the price. So let me know if you agree or disagree. Let me know what you think if you own the set as well. Thanks so much for watching this review. If you want to check out some of the other products I've done, link in the description, end screen, and cards. But yeah, I had a bit of a rough one with this set. So if you want to support me, hit that like button, subscribe, and I guess we'll see you in the next video. Peace.